Welcome back to Weird Stuff in a Can. Today we've got a Spanish pig trotter stew. So yeah, I picked this up in Spain actually a couple of years ago now, and in fact it is almost a year out of date, June 2022. But it's canned food. It lasts forever. We do need to probably take into account the fact that this is expired when tasting it. It might well not be at its best. Now, I had a little bit of trouble translating the the description here. Manos de cerdo y ternura, which I think means, well, it's pig's trotters. I think it's pig's trotters cooked tender. But Google Translate says that's pig hands and tenderness, which sounds lovely, doesn't it? Future shrimp here, tiny little interjection. Somebody on Discord noticed this in the sneak preview of the video. Como los de la abuela. Just like grandma's. So this is a can of, just like grandma's, pig hands and tenderness. For some of you, it may be news that there is a Discord server where you can discuss all sorts of topics, including a lot of the things that I do here on the channel, but you can also get free early access to most of my videos. Anyway, so pig trotters don't have a lot of meat on them. It's all cartilage and skin and fat and bones. And so I'm not expecting a lot of meat in this stew, but I think it's probably going to cook down to a sort of jelly-like stock. Anyway, ingredients. Pig trotters, 56%, water, wheat flour, tomato, onion, salt, wine, paprika, spices, and flavour enhancer, E621. I presume E621 is going to be monosodium glutamate, maybe. Cooking instructions are to cook it in a bain-marie or in the microwave. So we will just go and warm this up in a moment. But first, let's open it up and have a look. I realise it's a pull-tab can, but I prefer to use a can opener. And there is the, yeah, as I thought, it's a very firm jelly in there because of all of those tendons basically and skin in the pig's trotters. It's gonna stew down to a very, very gelatinous texture. I am going to try and hoik out a piece. That's a little bone. So I'm going to just taste a bit of this jelly cold. I realise it's not meant to be eaten cold, but we always do this anyway. So there it is. Actually really tasty cold. I'm one of those people that does like the jelly that you get in pork pies. And so this is like a Spanish seasoned version of that. I can taste tomatoes, onions, paprika, and probably something like sage, maybe rosemary in there as well. Anyway, that's probably all there is to say about that, except now it's time to go and warm that up and have it for lunch. Okay, well, there it is. And what we've got is quite a wobbly plate of food. I don't know what the correct way to serve this is, but I'm going to assume it's just with a bit of bread on the side. That's similar to the sort of presentation that we'd get in a little backstreet cafe in Spain from my experience. A nice bowl of stew and a bit of bread. So, the broth. A really sticky sort of gravy type broth there, and that's from all the gelatin that's in there. So it's like a demi-glace, really kind of unctuous gravy. Now you do have to eat around the bones a bit here, so actually there's a little bit of meat there by the look of it, which is surprising because I've had pig's trotters before and they didn't have any meat at all. Now, I'm expecting to have to spit out a bone or two here, so I'll just clear a bit of space on the plate. No bones in that bit. But a lot of what we've got here is either big chunks of bone, which obviously is necessary to get the consistency, and you have to cook these things before they come apart. We have got some nice tender pieces of meat there. And then we've got the stuff that pig's trotters are kind of better known for, which is all of the skin and wobbly connective tissue and so on, which is not a very nice way to describe it, I'm sure, but it doesn't bother me too much. So that's a piece of the kind of wobblier, fatty skin. Let's give that a taste. Not going to be for everybody, but that was so tender it just melted in my mouth. I get that that's not going to be for everyone's liking. There's a great big knuckle bone there. Not going to be to everybody's taste, obviously, and there are a lot of bones to eat around here, but the flavour's great. So, flavour, I can taste paprika, tomato, obviously the pork stock. I can taste some herbs in there. Not exactly sure which herbs, but they're kind of like rosemary, sage family. Maybe a bit of thyme. My gosh, that is very good for dunking bread. This sauce, because it's got all of the gelatin from the bones and the skin and the connective bits and bobs, the tendons, whatever. Oh, it's just amazing. That's really good. And yeah, as I say, I'm a little bit surprised because there are some chunks of, okay, quite fatty meat in there, which I didn't expect to find. They are quite fatty. So I shall have to go and pay this off with a bit of exercise, a walk or something. Like I say, the texture of these bits is not going to be for everybody. It's a bit like tripe, but without the strong flavour. But it is quite tender. It just melts away in your mouth. I can't get enough of that sauce though. This is definitely something which, now that I've got a pressure cooker, I should try making this. As I was warming this up in the kitchen, Eva was right outside the door yelping, like, let me in, let me in. She could smell the goodness and flavour of this pork. So, anyway, really kind of mild tasting sauce, mild tasting dish. For me, nothing at all really actually all that weird about this. I imagine the concept of pig hands and tenderness is going to be weird for a lot of people. And I think probably a lot of people are weirded out by the idea of having to eat around lots of little bones. Obviously, if it does bother you, then this is not for you. Real kind of comfort dish, that one. So that was tender pig's trotter stew from Spain. Weird stuff in a can on atomic shrimp. And I super enjoyed that. I don't know why I waited so long to open this, but that was delicious. Oh, someone's waiting outside the door. Someone can smell pork. Let's find you a little bit you can have, Eva. There you go, there's a little bit you can have. Okay. You good? There isn't any more. So I hope that's been interesting. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.